Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. The psychological phases of camp life. Frankl identifies 3 psychological phases experienced by the inmates. 1. Shock upon admission. The first reaction to imprisonment was shock. Prisoners were in disbelief and denial. The absurdity of camp routines and the cruelty of the guards intensified the feeling of unreality. 2. Apathy, routine camp life. After the initial shock, inmates entered a phase of emotional death and apathy. Survival instincts took over, emotional detachment became essential, hunger, cold, and hard labor dominated existence. Physical suffering was constant. Despite this, some prisoners retained a spiritual inner life. Art, poetry, or thinking of loved ones gave moments of transcendence. Frankl found strength by imagining his wife and reliving memories. He states, "Love goes very far beyond the physical person of the beloved. It finds its deepest meaning in his spiritual being, his inner self." Third reactions after liberation. When liberation came, prisoners initially felt joy, but also disorientation. Freedom came with a struggle, how to process what they endured, how to rebuild a shattered inner world. Many survivors felt guilt for having survived while others died, survivor's guilt. Suffering as a path to meaning. One of Frankl's key insights is that suffering itself is not meaningless. What matters is how one responds to suffering. He observed that those who had a strong sense of purpose or future goal, e.g., family reunion, unfinished work, were more likely to survive. Conversely, prisoners who lost all hope often fell ill or gave up and died. Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. This quote, originally from Nietzsche, forms a cornerstone of Frankl's philosophy: the role of choice and responsibility. Frankl asserts that even in a concentration camp, a person can choose how to respond to fate. Prisoners who retained moral integrity and helped others demonstrated that freedom of choice can exist even in extreme conditions. He saw examples of heroism, self-sacrifice, and kindness, proving that man is not just a product of his environment. The search for meaning. Frankl believed that meaning can be discovered in 3 main ways: by creating a work or doing a deed, by experiencing something or encountering someone, like love, by the attitude we take toward unavoidable suffering. He emphasizes that meaning is unique to the individual and the moment. There is no universal answer to life's meaning. It must be discovered personally. Logotherapy in a nutshell. Logotherapy is the psychological theory Frankl developed both before and after his time in the camps. It is based on the idea that the primary motivational force in humans is the search for meaning. What is logotherapy? Logos in Greek means meaning. Logotherapy thus means therapy through meaning. Unlike Freud, who emphasized pleasure, or Adler, who emphasized power, Frankl believed the will to meaning is the key human drive. Logotherapy helps patients find meaning in their lives to overcome mental distress. Core concepts of logotherapy. 1. The will to meaning. Humans crave purpose more than pleasure or power. Loss of meaning can lead to existential vacuum, a sense of emptiness and despair. This often manifests in boredom, depression, addiction, or aggression. 2. The existential vacuum. In modern society, traditional values have weakened, leaving many without clear life direction. People feel empty because they substitute superficial goals, money, status, entertainment, for deeper meaning. Frankl's therapy helps people discover authentic meaning, unique to their life situation. Third, meaning in suffering. Frankl distinguishes between avoidable and unavoidable suffering. Avoidable suffering should be eliminated, but when suffering is unavoidable, e.g., terminal illness, tragedy, we still have the freedom to give it meaning. Suffering ceases to be suffering the moment it finds a purpose. 4. Freedom of choice. Human beings are not determined solely by biology or environment. There is always a space between stimulus and response. This is where freedom lies. Even in the worst conditions, we can choose our attitude. Logotherapy in practice. First, dereflection helps patients focus outward rather than on themselves. For example, a person with sexual dysfunction might be encouraged to focus on their partner's needs rather than their own performance anxiety. Second, paradoxical intention involves encouraging the patient to do or wish for the very thing they fear. A person with insomnia might be told to try to stay awake as long as possible. This removes the pressure and reduces the fear. Third, Socratic dialogue. This process fosters self-awareness and responsibility. Frankl's critique of modern psychology. Frankl criticizes Freud and Adler for focusing too much on drives and instincts, and not enough on spiritual meaning. He argues that reducing humans to biological mechanisms robs life of its dignity. Instead, psychology should aim at helping people live meaningful lives. Responsibility and the Statue of Liberty. Frankl suggests that just as America has the Statue of Liberty on the East Coast, it should have a Statue of Responsibility on the West Coast. Freedom is only part of the story and half of the truth. Freedom is in danger of degenerating into mere license unless it is lived in terms of responsibility. He emphasizes that liberty must be balanced with personal responsibility. Concluding insights, universal lessons from the camps. Life has meaning under all circumstances, even the most miserable ones. Our greatest freedom is the ability to choose our attitude. Meaning is not something to be invented, but discovered. Love, especially unconditional love, gives profound meaning to life. Suffering is not a punishment, but a part of life that can be transformed. Thank you for listening.